Hi everybody, and thanks for watching. And those of you that have subscribed, thank you very much for subscribing. Hopefully you're finding the channel interesting. And today we're going to discuss the moving of beehives, how to do it safely. So there are a number of aspects I'd just like to go through first before we take a look at how I do it and the different ways of doing it. So it's very important, firstly, to have the right protections on yourself. Um, your veil, your smoker, your gloves, your hive tool, you've got to be ready as if you're almost going to harvest or actually open all your hives. So get into that before you start looking at your hives or lifting the hives. That's the first thing when you're there. Then the time of day is critical. Are you going to do this at night? Is it going to be safe to drive at night to your apiary site or wherever your bees are? Are there issues? Do they hijack trucks on the highway? Do they put spikes on the highway? Have you got another vehicle driving behind you or in front of you that is going to look after you should something go wrong? Do you know if you've got two people with you or another person with you, how does that person get hold of emergency assistance should something go wrong? If something goes wrong, can that person contact your next of kin or somebody who can bring another vehicle to help and so on? So there's that aspect which you should take care of before you're moving. And that should be done before you actually leave or your home so that you've got this sorted. Now, the other thing is your temperatures. If you're moving hives at night and it goes to 3, 4, 5 degrees Celsius and lower, then you must realize that the bees are going to get very cold. So there are things that I'll point to later with regard to how to look after your hive when you're transporting it. The other things are you must know exactly where you're going to, the roads to get there, the actual site where you're putting your hives, how close to the hive, the site can you get with your vehicle? Are you able to lift the hive yourself to that particular place where you're going to put it? Have you got somebody to help you? Has that person got the right protections on, and so on? And that's more if you've got a couple of hives. If you're a commercial guy, yes, you're going to have a lot of help there, presumably, and you're not going to kind of do it all like I have been doing it over the last 15 years because you get tired. So, so those are the things. The other thing that is relative is what sort of vehicle do you have? Have you got a normal 1-ton vehicle where you've got a cab separate from the rear end and you're putting your bees on the rear end? Or is it an SUV and you're putting it inside with you? Or is it a car and you're putting it in the boot or in the back seat? I've done that before. But if so, then you've got to keep your gloves and your veil on and your gum boots or your boots on, because should something go wrong, and you're in an accident or you hit a bump or the bees get out of the box somehow, you're in big trouble if you haven't got your veil on. And it's very difficult to put your veil on while you're trying to stop your car, and your gloves. So you're going to be driving in gloves and veil to make sure that you know what you're doing and you practice before you do it. So the other thing that is quite important is if you have an open vehicle at the back and your cab is separate and you're quite safe inside, you don't have to put your veil on. You can always put your veil on when you get out of the vehicle and go and see what's going on at the back. So, and that is on the back, you've got to ensure that your hives are secure. They either fit tight on your vehicle or you've strapped them down so that if you do go over a bump or you're in an accident or you have to stop suddenly, those beehives don't fly off the back of your vehicle because you've got a whole set of other problems and people involved. And yeah, it's a threat and you shouldn't be doing your beekeeping like that. If you're large commercial, well, then you've got a 4-ton vehicle and all those hives are strapped on, and you're doing this already, and I don't know, maybe you'll pick up some tips on the way I do it along the way, so it's worth watching. So those are the couple of things. And the other thing is where you're taking your hives from. Are there people close to there? Are all those hives sealed, and are they, can you seal them so that when you do move those bees, many are not going to escape out of the bottom and fly to lights close by at night? And are there any animals that could be affected? And also where you're taking your bees to. What about people there? What about public places? Are there bylaws there that you need to attend to before you take the bees in? Are there animals there? And so on. So these are the things, general things you need to be aware of. Let's go to the next section, and hopefully you can pick up a bit here. A Langstroth hive. So, and this particular cover here is a migration cover. Okay, so this is what they use, and they call it a migration cover. It's got this in the front, similar to the other one, but you can move it. And the main reason for this is that they generally put straps around here, 2 straps to secure the lid. Okay, so that's the migration hive. So when you're moving your hives, if you know that you've got honey in the super, this is the super. You know it's full of honey, or you suspect it's full of honey, go and harvest before you move your hives, and replace the frames with drawn out comb, 10 frames of drawn out comb, if you can. If you need to move your hives and there's honey in the super full and there's a lot of honey in the hive, what may happen is when you're moving it to your vehicle, or putting it on your vehicle, or driving over bumps, or wherever you're going, you'll find that it might, some of the combs, particularly in the super, might break. Then they'll fall down, and they will, with a bit of heat that the bees will create, they'll start melting, and you'll have honey that's leaking out of the cells. If it's uncapped cells, the honey will leak out, and it'll cause so much honey on the bottom of your hive, which is going to block your entrance, and you will get no air in. The bees will get no air. So if they don't drown in the honey, they will probably drown from, or they'll probably die from CO2. So just be aware of that. So ideally, what you want to do is take the super off completely. If you're moving a whole lot of hives, 10, 20 hives, then you would take all the supers off, and before you move it, the day before, and or 2 days or 3 days, whatever, and it's a lot easier. Then you can put 2 brood chambers on top of each other, and it's a lot easier to do it that way. So this is your migration lid, and I'll show you what the telescopic lid looks like. So most of the hives, the Langstroth hives, use this telescopic lid. Not many use the Langstroth lid. Now, let's say you've got rid of your super. Okay, there's your super, and you've got your honey, and now you've got your hive like this. So you want to move it. Okay, so this is one way of doing it. You take, this is onion or squash, or it's a bag, and bees can't get through this. So what you can do, you get a couple of these, and you just stuff them in like that with your hive tool. Okay, and 3 or 4 of those, and at least some air will come through. So one of the other ways of doing it, most people take foam rubber, and they put this foam rubber through, and And then what's happening is when you're doing this, the bees are coming out here at pace and they are angry. And they come out now, there's a gap there, so they're going to be coming out there. So you've got to be very, very careful. And the thing is, with this sort of closure, not much air gets through, so the bees can cook. So the other way of doing it is by lifting the back of the hives a bit, so that there's an airflow through. That's also very, very difficult if you've got straps on, and some people say, well, you put something underneath here and it's, it's probably okay if you're doing one hive or two hives. You can spend half an hour doing it, but if you've got a lot of hives, it's a no-no. So it's easier to do that sort of thing with a migration lid like this, because if you do, then you can basically just move it, and you can actually say, okay, well, a bee can't get out there, so what I'm going to do is strap it down like that, and maybe put a piece of wood here and screw it in, so the lid can't do that or that drive it. So a lot of people use an inner cover, and they will put a matchstick underneath there or something like that, just to let the air come through. So it's not always effective. It also depends on how far you are transporting the bees, how long it's going to take you to get to lifting them to putting them down. Is it 15 minutes? Is it 2 hours? Is it 5 hours if you have a problem along the way? So you've got to work all this out before you go, long before you go. Okay, so those are the problems you have. Now, if you have honey that you expect is going to fall down, and work this out before you take the bees, or if you put your hive on the vehicles and you suddenly think, well, this thing, I've got two guys, there's two of us, and we're struggling with this hive, it weighs 60 kilograms. Well, then you've got a lot of honey on. So when you put it down, make sure that the front end is up. Okay? Even if it's up this high, it's fine. Because if the honey does fall down, it's going to accumulate at the back of the hive. So the front of the hive is not going to get blocked with honey and dead bees and comb and all that stuff, and your whole swarm is in trouble, basically. Okay, so then I want to show you what I use and what I've done. So I'm going to put this hive down away, and the first thing I'm going to show you is a catch box, okay? Because often you're going to have bees in a catch box. It's going to be away from your other hives, and you're going to want to take those bees in the catch box to your hive. Okay, so the best way to do that, I have purpose-made catch boxes, and they're different. If I'm going to a different site and it's going to take me 10 or 15 minutes, I have these special doors that I can go to wherever my hive is, normally hanging in the tree. And I'll just put this door, the air can get through here. I'll just close the bees like that, and boom, they're ready to go. And this is all sealed, and I'll do a quick inspection to see that nothing's open here, and I'll take them and everything is safe. Okay, so that's the first thing. If I am driving a long way, and by that I mean I've taken some bees 400 kilometers, and some of those bees have been in a catch box. So how do you keep them alive over that period? Because if you've got a normal catch box, it's got slats at the bottom, and you close those slats, they will probably die in the process. So you need to keep them alive, of course, look after your bees. So what I've done is I've got hold of this grid, metal grid. Okay, it's got holes in it, very porous there. And what I've done is I've worked that into lid like this. Okay, it's the same as the normal lids. These catch boxes I make this myself. So this is catch box number 26. So this is one of the earlier catch boxes. So, and all I do is I just put it over, and I'll take the old lid off. There'll probably be bees on that, and as I take this old lid off, I'll shake the bees onto here. Okay, there might even be comb on here. I will put it away, and I'll put this on. And this, if I've got time and I'm at that site just checking things the day before, I will actually put these lids on the day before. Okay, and I'll screw them there, 4 screws, and then just before I take them, I will close them up, so that during the day, when I do this, because I don't like working at night, the bees, half of them will be out, they'll come back, and most of them will pop up on this to keep it warm. Okay, so when I take them, and I've taken them, it's taken 8 hours at one point, so they will be fine. They'll be happy that as you open this section and you put the old lid back, they're not going to go crazy, they're all calm. And that's wonderful. That's really nice when that happens. Okay, so that's the catch boxes. And here I might as well show you this. I thought it was quite interesting. This is an 8-frame hive, and this is actually I brought back. I've swapped it out with another hive because it obviously needs painting and a bit of maintenance on it. And the other thing is, you can see here, the bees have eaten through over here. They've eaten through the wood and the floor. This is a masonite floor. They've eaten through. So getting back to my point earlier, you must ensure before you lift your hive, taking it, that all these, there are no holes on the hive. If there are, then you can take your foam rubber. Take your foam and you close the holes with your hive tool, and they're safe. Okay, so these 8 frames, same story. It's the metal, and this I fabricated, and I have a system, a chain system. So I just hook my chain there, and it's done. And bees are safe. Nothing's going. I can load them. I can put 3 at top. I can put 45 hives at one point on the vehicle. Right. So let's go to the main hive. This is my sort of hive. There's your metal again. So these are fabricated as well, and my lids are different. They don't have a front here. They actually work as a chain system and hold the lid in place for the badgers and for theft, and it's worked pretty well so far. So what I would do is take the lid off during the day if I can. If I have to do it at night and I'm leaving at night, I will go through a number of hives and come back and then close the fronts. Okay. So if I've got time to do it the day before, I'll do this late afternoon or even before it gets dark. And so I'll put this on. It fits pretty well. And then all I'll do is I'll put the chain on, and yeah, there it goes. And it's a system I had. One of the other videos explains how this chain works, etc. So there it is. It's pretty safe. It's pretty, sturdy, and you can put another one on here, and they're actually locked together because the one will be resting on top of this, and the front will be here. So, and of course the 2 doors I have, and there we go. So remember, there are a couple of, you need to be safe not only for yourself, but for where you're taking it from, that you don't leave a whole bunch of bees there, and also where you're taking it to, and you've got to be safe along the way. And just plan these things, because you're sitting with between 20,000 and maybe 50,000 bees here. So that can be lethal. And yeah, you need to ensure that you've got insurance coverage, public liability. And when you move your hives, where you're putting them, you need to have insurance. Do the right thing, because maybe you'll make a mistake in time. Maybe you'll be lucky nothing will happen, maybe not. So you don't really want to be in a position where people are injured and residents or owners are suing you because you've brought the bees and you haven't taken the right precautions, and you have no coverage, and it's going to cost you dearly. So there we go. I think I've covered as much as I can at this point. There's a whole lot more to transporting bees. Before I go quickly, if it's raining, I probably would put other covers on top of this. I won't necessarily use the other covers, but if it's 4 or 5 degrees and lower, I might not use these covers at all, because these could get too cold. Some people have holes, and I used to have holes at the back of my hives to allow for air to go through. If you have a number of hives like that, not all of them, put those on the bottom and the other ones that are sealed on the top if you're traveling at night and it's cold, winter, you're going to pollination or something like that, because if the air comes in through the back, and that air is coming in at whatever, 80 k's an hour, and it's cold air, and you've got a brood inside or larvae, you're going to have a problem, and those bees are not going to make it probably, and you need all the bees you can get. So just be aware of those things, yeah, I hope this has been of value to you, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and yeah, the next time you'll be told, okay, there is a new video. You don't have to go and search for it all the time. It's free, and I hope you get some reward, some tips, some value out of it as a beekeeper, and also some value out of it from somebody that's not a beekeeper. It's maybe thinking of becoming a beekeeper, or just a hobbyist. So, and there are some things one should think of doing if you're looking at it from a beyond hobbyists, and you're looking as a form of income over time, and there are things that you should look at prior to purchasing equipment, the way hives are made, and a more sustainable hive for the purposes that you need, and because the Langstroth is a very effective hive, but there are some shortcomings in the Langstroth hive, and you need to just watch one of my earlier videos to see what you can do. I've got the measurements all out there, and I've done very well for my own bees. I don't sell hives, I don't get involved in that side of construction. I make them for myself, and I use them all up for myself. So enjoy your beekeeping, enjoy watching, please ask questions, please give a thumbs up if you like it, and please subscribe and refer it to your friends. Thank you for watching.